Hello, Golden State Warriors fan. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates. First of all, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It's crucial for you to stay informed with the news daily. Without further ado, let's get to the news. The Bay has been buzzing in that unmistakable way it does when something big is about to drop, and this time the whispers carry the name of Donovan Mitchell Jr., a name that alone can bend the volume of any basketball conversation. The rumor floating around feels less like idle chatter and more like a tremor under the floor, the kind that makes fans lean closer to their screens and lower their voices, as if the walls might be listening. The idea being passed from mouth to mouth is simple yet explosive. Mitchell's signing with the Warriors, a move that would instantly redraw the perimeter map of the league. People are talking about how his scoring gravity would stretch defenses beyond comfort, how his presence would turn every closeout into a gamble and every help rotation into a potential mistake. In YouTuber fashion, you can almost hear the dramatic pause before saying his name, letting it sink in while the comments explode. This isn't about confirming anything. It's about the feeling, the possibility, the cinematic what if that makes fans replay imaginary possessions in their heads. The Bay thrives on this kind of speculation, where fit matters as much as fame, and the thought of Mitchell in that system feels like pouring gasoline on a fire that never really went out. What really fuels this rumor is the way people start connecting dots that may or may not exist, but sound convincing enough to keep the conversation alive. Mitchell's reputation as a fearless scorer, someone who thrives when the lights feel hottest, suddenly gets framed as the perfect complement to Golden State's movement-heavy offense. Fans start imagining those dribble handoffs turning into sudden bursts downhill, defenses scrambling as Mitchell pulls up or attacks the rim with that familiar aggression. In the background of these conversations, there's always that subtle nod to legacy, to how the Warriors have built their identity around spacing, shooting, and relentless pressure. The speculation leans into the narrative that Mitchell wants a stage where his perimeter explosion can echo louder, where every big shot ripples through a global fan base. You can hear the YouTuber tone rising here, half excitement, half disbelief, reminding viewers that this is still a rumor, but a juicy one. The Bay doesn't just consume stars, it amplifies them, and people can't stop wondering how Mitchell's game would be amplified by that ecosystem, by the culture, by the expectations that come with wearing those colors. Another layer that keeps this rumor simmering is the psychological angle, the idea of challenge and reinvention that often drives superstar movement. Mitchell has already carved out a reputation as a go-to scorer, a player capable of carrying offensive loads and swinging momentum with sheer will. The whispers suggest that the Warriors represent not an escape, but a test, a chance to prove versatility within a complex system rather than a heliocentric one. You can almost hear the narrator leaning in, lowering their voice, talking about how this would force Mitchell to pick his spots differently, to weaponize his off-ball movement as much as his isolation brilliance. Fans debate whether that would elevate him or constrain him, and that debate itself keeps the rumor alive. In comment sections and late-night streams, people argue about fit, about whether his explosive perimeter game would unlock new wrinkles or disrupt existing rhythms. The Bay loves these questions because they speak to basketball intellect, not just star power. The rumor becomes less about a signature on paper and more about an experiment, a high-stakes blend of styles that could redefine how people talk about perimeter dominance. There's also the emotional side that fans latch onto, the storytelling element that makes YouTube sports narratives so addictive. Mitchell arriving in the Bay is painted as a spark, a jolt of energy that recharges a fan base always hungry for the next evolution. People talk about the roar of the crowd when he strings together those quick scoring bursts, the way the arena would feel like it's tilting when the perimeter catches fire. Even skeptics get pulled in, if only to argue against it, because the imagery is too strong to ignore. The rumor doesn't need confirmation to feel real in those moments. It just needs repetition and imagination. You can hear the host reminding everyone that this is speculation, but doing it with a grin, knowing full well that the audience is already sold on the dream. The Bay has seen stars come and go, but the idea of adding a scorer like Mitchell taps into a deeper desire for sustained excitement, for nights where the perimeter becomes a spectacle all its own. As the chatter grows, people start revisiting Mitchell's journey, not to recap it, but to frame it as a prelude to this potential move. His development, his resilience, his flair for dramatic moments all get woven into the narrative that he is ready for a new chapter. The Warriors, in this rumor-fueled story, are portrayed as both destination and catalyst, a place where his perimeter explosion could reach another level of efficiency and flair. The YouTuber voice leans into the suspense, stretching out sentences, letting anticipation breathe. Viewers are reminded that rumors often say more about desire than reality, but that doesn't make them any less powerful. In the Bay, desire has a way of manifesting into belief, and belief keeps conversations alive long after the stream ends. This speculation becomes communal, a shared daydream that bonds fans through possibility rather than certainty. By the time the first wave of discussion settles, the rumor has already done its job, igniting debates, fueling highlight rewatch sessions, and planting a seed that refuses to stay quiet. The thought of Mitchell in a Warriors uniform lingers, replaying in slow motion in the minds of fans who thrive on these moments of collective imagination. The Bay doesn't need confirmation to feel the spark. It just needs the idea. And right now, that idea is glowing bright, daring everyone to keep talking about what might be. Now shifting the lens slightly, the speculation deepens as people start to imagine the ripple effects of such a move beyond just highlights and scoring runs. In this second wave of chatter, the conversation turns toward how Mitchell's presence could subtly reshape roles, rotations, and even the emotional hierarchy of the locker room. The YouTuber tone becomes analytical, yet still playful, pointing out that stars of this caliber don't just add points, they change the temperature of a team. The rumors suggest that Mitchell's competitive edge would blend with the Warriors' culture in unexpected ways, creating practices that feel sharper, internal battles that push everyone a notch higher. Fans talk about how perimeter defenders would have to choose their poison, how help schemes would stretch thinner, and how that constant pressure could open space for others to thrive. None of this is stated as fact, but as a cascade of possibilities that feel logical enough to keep the imagination running. The Bay loves to think of basketball as a living organism, and adding Mitchell is portrayed as introducing a new heartbeat, faster and louder, pulsing through every possession. Another thread in this speculative tapestry focuses on identity, on how Mitchell might redefine his own narrative within a system known for collective brilliance. The rumor frames this as a chance for him to be both a star and a piece, a paradox that intrigues fans who appreciate nuance. The YouTuber voice emphasizes that this wouldn't be about sacrificing individuality, but about channeling it through movement, spacing, and timing. Viewers are encouraged to picture Mitchell sprinting off screens, catching defenders off balance, and then erupting with those familiar perimeter attacks. The Bay audience eats this up because it speaks to evolution rather than repetition. In this imagined scenario, Mitchell isn't just repeating what he has done before, he's adapting, sharpening, and surprising. The speculation thrives on that sense of growth, of watching a known talent discover new dimensions. Even doubts become part of the fun, as skeptics question whether such a transition would be seamless or turbulent, adding tension to the narrative rather than killing it. The rumor also taps into the broader league-wide implications, though always through a conversational, YouTube-friendly lens. People start wondering how opponents would adjust, how scouting reports would balloon with new contingencies, and how every road game in the Bay would suddenly feel heavier. The idea of Mitchell lighting up the perimeter in that environment feels like a challenge thrown down to the rest of the league. The host might smirk here, reminding everyone that rumors like this have a way of shifting mental landscapes before anything tangible happens. Fans from other teams chime in, half joking, half concerned, because even speculation can feel threatening when it involves that kind of firepower. The Bay, in these conversations, becomes a symbol of perpetual danger, a place where stars converge to keep the pressure on everyone else. Mitchell's name attached to that symbol only amplifies the unease and excitement in equal measure. Emotionally, this second part of the rumor leans into legacy and memory, into how fans remember eras not just by trophies, but by feelings. The speculation paints a picture of nights when the perimeter crackles, when momentum swings feel inevitable rather than hopeful. The YouTuber voice slows down, savoring the imagery, talking about the kind of buzz that makes arenas hum before the opening tip. Mitchell is framed as a catalyst for those feelings, a player whose style invites anticipation. The Bay has always valued that sense of showmanship, and this rumor plugs directly into it. Fans don't just want to win, they want to feel something, and the idea of Mitchell in that uniform promises exactly that. Even without confirmation, the emotional payoff of imagining it keeps people invested, keeps streams rolling, keeps comments stacking up. As the speculation matures, it starts to feel almost self-sustaining, a loop of imagination feeding on itself. Every hypothetical clip, every imagined lineup fuels the next conversation. The YouTuber persona acknowledges the uncertainty, maybe even laughs at how far the rumor has traveled, but never fully lets it go. That balance between skepticism and excitement is what keeps viewers hooked. Mitchell's name continues to echo through the Bay's digital corridors, less as a confirmed signing and more as a symbol of possibility. The perimeter explosion promised by this rumor becomes a shared fantasy, one that fans revisit whenever they crave a jolt of excitement. In the end, this second wave of discussion doesn't try to close the story. It leaves it open, suspended in that sweet spot where rumors live their longest lives. The thought of Donovan Mitchell Jr. igniting the Bay remains just that, a thought, but one powerful enough to light up conversations, fuel debates, and remind everyone why speculation is such a vital part of sports culture. The Bay keeps buzzing, the perimeter keeps crackling in the imagination, and the rumor refuses to fade, daring fans to keep believing just a little longer. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The rumor refuses to slow down, and now it starts taking on a life that feels almost independent of reality, as if the mere mention of Donovan Mitchell Jr. alongside the Warriors has unlocked a parallel season playing out in the minds of fans. The YouTuber voice leans back, lets the moment breathe, and starts talking about energy, about vibes, about how certain players just feel right in certain places even before anything happens. Mitchell in the Bay is framed as one of those intuitive matches where the style, the swagger, and the expectations align in a way that feels natural. People imagine him feeding off the crowd, riding those emotional waves that Golden State arenas are famous for, turning routine possessions into moments that get clipped and replayed endlessly. The perimeter explosion becomes more than a tactical idea. It becomes a feeling, a rush that fans crave after years of seeing the game played at its most fluid. Even casual viewers get pulled in because this rumor speaks the language of excitement rather than spreadsheets. It is about rhythm, confidence, and that spark that turns a good night into a legendary one. The speculation keeps leaning into that emotional payoff, reminding everyone that basketball, at its core, is still entertainment driven by imagination as much as outcomes. As the conversation stretches deeper, another angle emerges, one that focuses on pressure and expectation, and how Mitchell has always seemed comfortable carrying both. The rumor paints the Warriors as a place where pressure does not suffocate but sharpens, where big moments are not avoided but chased. The YouTuber tone here becomes almost philosophical, talking about how some players need chaos to truly shine. Mitchell's game, explosive and assertive, is described as something that thrives in environments where every possession feels meaningful. Fans speculate about clutch scenarios, about late game spacing, about the kind of trust required to let a perimeter scorer cook when everything is on the line. Again, nothing is stated as fact, but the logic feels persuasive enough to keep people nodding along. The Bay is imagined as a proving ground where Mitchell could etch a new version of himself, not replacing what came before, but adding layers to it. This line of thinking keeps the rumor grounded in character rather than contracts, making it feel less transactional and more narrative-driven, which is exactly why it sticks. By the time this latest wave of speculation settles, the story has evolved into something richer than a simple signing rumor. It becomes a symbol of what fans want the sport to feel like: fast, bold, and unpredictable. The YouTuber wraps this segment with that familiar half-smile, acknowledging that rumors are fragile things, but also powerful ones. Donovan Mitchell Jr. and the Warriors might remain an idea rather than a reality, but the perimeter explosion imagined by fans has already happened in spirit. Conversations have been sparked, debates have been fueled, and excitement has been renewed, all without a single official word. The bay continues to hum with possibility, and Mitchell's name lingers in the air like an echo that refuses to fade. In that sense, the rumor has already succeeded, not by confirming anything, but by reminding everyone why they tune in, why they argue, and why they dream about what could be next in this endlessly dramatic game. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.